Today, we're going to talk about something that's quietly shaping almost everything in our lives, from our job prospects to our future. It's called digital poverty. And you'll see, it's so much more than just whether or not you own a smartphone.
So, think about it for a second. You're watching this on a screen right now, right? Maybe it's a phone, a tablet, a laptop.
Well, that simple fact that you're here watching this already puts you on one side of a really deep and growing divide. But this isn't just about the haves and the have-nots anymore. It's way more complicated, creating all these new kinds of inequality. So let's break down what that actually means.
You know, when we hear the term digital divide, most of us get this picture in our heads of a simple line, people with internet on one side and people without on the other. But honestly, that idea is totally out of date. The problem has gotten a lot more tangled.
This right here shows just how much our thinking has had to change. The question isn't just, do you have a computer anymore? Now we have to ask a bunch of other questions. Do you have the right kind of access? Do you have the skills to actually use it? Can you make it work for you to improve your life? And, crucially, do you know how to protect yourself from all the bad stuff out there?
The COVID-19 pandemic really just blew the lid off these hidden problems. All of a sudden, you had one family laptop that was supposed to be for 3 kids in online school and a parent trying to work from home. That spotty Wi-Fi connection wasn't just annoying anymore. It was a barrier to getting an education or earning a living. It proved really clearly that just having a device doesn't mean you're not at a huge digital disadvantage.
So to really get a handle on digital poverty, experts break it down into 3 different levels. See, it's not just one gap. It's more like a series of hurdles that just keep getting higher.
So, first up, you've got the access divide. Pretty simple. Do you have a decent device and a stable connection? Then there's the skills divide. Do you actually know how to use that technology in a meaningful way? But it's this third level that most people miss, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all.
And that is the outcomes divide. This is all about whether you can actually use technology to make your life better, to find a better job, get healthcare, connect with people, and at the same time, are you savvy enough to dodge all the dangers, like scams, fake news, and all the biases baked into the system?
Okay, so just as we're starting to understand these 3 divides, a powerful new force is making the gap even wider, and that force is artificial intelligence. This isn't some sci-fi movie stuff. AI is already here, and it's shaping our lives in ways most of us don't even see.
Here's the scary part. AI systems learn from the data we give them. And if that data is full of our own real-world biases, and let's be honest, it is, the AI doesn't just learn those biases, it automates them. It puts them on steroids, applying them at a massive scale. Some researchers even call these algorithms of oppression.
I mean, check out this real-world example. A while back, Amazon built an AI to screen resumes. They trained it on 10 years of their own hiring data, which was mostly from men. And what was the result? The AI literally taught itself that male candidates were better and started penalizing any resume that even had the word women's in it.
And this bias goes way beyond hiring. Think about applying for a loan. An algorithm is often the first thing that looks at your application. Well, in the US, Black citizens are 1.8 times more likely to not even have a credit score. To an automated system, that makes them either invisible or a huge risk. This whole situation creates this dangerous new knowledge gap. Most of us have absolutely no clue how these hidden algorithms are scoring us, categorizing us, and making huge decisions that affect whether we get a job, a house, or a loan. This digital invisibility means the most vulnerable people have no way to even know they're being discriminated against, let alone fight back.
So what's really at the root of all these divides? Well, researchers use a pretty simple framework to map it all out. It's like layers of an onion, starting from the very center, the individual.
At this micro level, you have the things closest to you and me. Do you have a device? Can you afford the data plan? Do you have the skills to use it, the motivation to even want to learn, and maybe a friend or family member you can call when you get stuck?
But of course, none of us live in a bubble, right? So the next layer out, the meso level, is all about your immediate environment. Your income, where you live, your family situation, all of that has a massive impact on how you can engage with the digital world.
And finally, you get to the biggest layer, the macro level. This is the big picture stuff. The national economy, government policies, broad cultural attitudes. These huge systems create the environment that everything else operates in. You can't really solve digital poverty for one person without taking on these bigger societal issues.
So when you put all these different pieces together, you don't just get a problem. You get a cycle,
a self-reinforcing loop that can literally trap people in disadvantage.
It all starts with the disadvantages that already exist offline. We're talking about things like low income, not having access to good schools, or living in a place with terrible infrastructure.
These real-world problems then lead directly to digital poverty. I mean, if you can't afford broadband, or you don't have the time or money to learn new digital skills, you're obviously going to start falling behind online.
And here's where the cycle just locks in. That digital poverty then turns around and makes the original social inequality even worse. If you can't apply for jobs online, or access online education, or even use basic government services, you get stuck. It becomes almost impossible to climb out of that initial hole.
This whole thing actually has a name. It's called the Matthew effect. It comes from that biblical verse about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. In the digital world, it means that people who already have advantages, money, education, connections, use technology to get even more of an advantage, making that gap between them and everyone else wider and wider.
So this leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it? As AI gets baked into every part of our society, we know that just handing out free laptops isn't going to cut it. We have to think so much bigger. How do we actually build a digital world where technology is a ladder for everyone and not just a rocket ship for the lucky few?